Putin deploys frigate to Atlantic Ocean armed with hypersonic Zircon cruise missiles.
Here's a summary of the article.
Russian President Vladimir Putin announced Wednesday the deployment of a frigate armed with hypersonic Zircon cruise missiles, a type of weaponry he says has no analogues, to the Atlantic Ocean. The ship, named Admiral of the Fleet of the Soviet Union Gorshkov, is deploying months after Russia's Ministry of Defense touted a successful test launch of the missiles, which cleared a distance of 625 miles. The ship is equipped with the latest hypersonic missile system Zircon, which has no analogues, Putin said during a video conference with Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu and Igor Krochmal, the ship's commander, according to Reuters. Shoigu said the ship will travel through the Indian Ocean and Mediterranean Sea in addition to the Atlantic, Reuters added. Russian outrage grows after strike kills dozens of troops in Ukraine. Video released by Russia last May showed a Zircon missile being fired from the Barents Sea near Scandinavia and striking a target in the White Sea with great precision. Ukraine has liberated 40% of territory occupied by Russia since February 2022, official says. Today, the lead frigate of Project 22350 Admiral of the Fleet of the Soviet Union Gorshkov fired a Zircon hypersonic cruise missile at a sea target position in the White Sea from the Barents Sea, the Defense Ministry announced at the time. Russia also recently has completed test launches of the Sarmat, an intercontinental missile that can carry nuclear warheads, according to reports.
This post received a score of 23,000, with an upvote ratio of 90%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Well, I can't fault the bravery of that ship captain, putting so much water under a Russian ship.
Well, it's far from Moscow windows and staircases now though.
It's only one missile away from the other Moscow though.
Or one cigarette fire away from brave new depths.
But closer to Montana.
That man loved BBWs and rabbit stew. And wanted a camper. A true American?
He wanted 2 wives as well, winking face.
Just an aside, I saw this movie during first release one evening in Billings, Montana. Cool old times movie house. That scene discussing stealing the sub and going to Montana was met with outrageous laughter by the local crowd. Took a while for them to settle down and get back to watching the rest of the film. Good times.
Betting pool. Place your bets here. Which happens first? Catches fire, breaks down and has to be towed to port. Defects to a NATO country, sinks without explanation. All of the above in that order.
Oh, I'm gonna take the under and go with all of the above. In reverse order.
Makes me think of Bender burning down Zoidberg's home with a cigar, in the sunken city of Atlanta.
That just raises even more questions.
See you tomorrow when it sinks or burns. Or defects to a NATO port.
Give me a ping, Vashili. One ping only, pledge.
Well then, in winter I will live in Arizona. Actually, I think I will need 2 wives.
I think he wanted to live in Montana.
He did, but then he goes on to talk more about the dream. Saying that he wants to live in Montana and marry a big round American woman, and have a pickup truck and travel state to state. That is when he brings up living in Arizona in the winter and implies that because he wants to be in both places happily, he will need 2 wives.
They let you do that? No papers?
No papers.
All 10? Bold, considering there is definitely a Virginia-class attack sub shadowing it.
I was thinking the same thing. This ship is just going to be hounded by deep-sea submarines.
Has been since it left port.
I feel bad for the shipmen that have to row that thing.
All tugs currently servicing Admiral Kuznetsov.
Both tugs.
Give your boats a tug, Shapfaka.
Probably worried the Ukrainians will sink it in port otherwise.
Hope there aren't any smokers on that ship.
How's cell phone reception on that ship?
Hit or miss.
3G, you sunk my missile ship. The Gorshkov clocks in at 5,500 tons and is called a frigate. Russia has 2 of these. The USN's Arleigh Burke-class destroyer clocks between 6,500 and 8,500 depending on version, and the US has over 70 and more on the way. I know Zircons are meant to hit carriers, but I'd just like to point out we have a shitload of boats.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.